All right, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thanks so much for joining our webinar today. Hope you're having a great Thursday, a good afternoon. Looking forward to the weekend, as I'm sure many of you are. I know I am. Welcome to our webinar here in Lucid. As you're joining in, go ahead and take a second and introduce yourself. I'd love to hear from you. If you could put in the Zoom chat, maybe let me know where you're joining from and do you have any exciting plans this weekend? Like for me, I'm gonna meet up with some friends to play some games. My girlfriend and I will probably do like a little date day in the city. And well, I also have to do a lot of studying. I have a test this weekend, so there's that too. But let me know your name, where you're joining from, and any fun plans this weekend. Howdy, hey, Allison, welcome. Tim, that sounds like so much fun hanging out with the grandkids. Gadiel, welcome, bienvenidos. Monica, hi. Melita, hello. Linda, Travis, Carolina. Oh my gosh, y'all are amazing. Biking this weekend. That sounds like so much fun. My little brother does like these bike courses competitively, and it was so cool to see when he did that recently. Going to Las Vegas. Awesome. San Diego. Wow. Well, you all have so many exciting plans. Oh my gosh, getting on a flight to Japan. Amy, I'm jealous. You all have so many great plans. I am, well, very excited to do this webinar with you. And I hope that today can be a fun little way to, interact with a webinar, interact with a new product, or a product you already use before your very exciting weekend. So today we're here to talk about Lucid and all the different things that you can do in it. So let me go ahead and take a second to introduce our set of panelists here. First off, my name is Christian. I'm a customer trainer here at Lucid Software. I spend a lot of time on webinars showing people how to do various things in Lucid, how it can help you with the use cases that you use it for, and how it can help you kind of improve your day-to-day work life. But I also have some other amazing presenters on the call here with me today. Peter and Brock, can you take a second to intro yourselves?
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Peter Smith. I'm a product manager here at Lucid. I've been focused on the functionality we're actually going to talk about today for a little while now called Teams. So I'm really excited to jump in there and teach you guys how to get the most out of it.
Awesome. And I'm Brock. I work with Peter. I'm also a product manager working with Lucid Teams. Super excited to get to share with you today.
Very cool. Well, thanks, y'all. So long story short, for anyone that's here, you have every person in the room to help answer any of your questions and show you how to use Lucid. And speaking of answering questions, let me cover a couple little housekeeping items here. So first off, as you heard earlier, this webinar is being recorded. So you're going to be able to access that recording within about 2 business days, and you can expect an email to the email that you use to register for this event. In addition to that webinar recording, you're also going to find different types of resources, blog posts, help articles, and just some other goodies and little things that'll help you optimize your team hub, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, we don't want to be talking at you today. We want to be talking with you. We want to be able to help you answer your questions and have a conversation and dialogue around all the different things that you can use Lucid for. So we want to answer all your questions, but I need you all to do me a favor. Please go ahead and post those questions in the Q&A slot in Zoom. So that's going to be in your Zoom toolbar. It'll look like two little kind of overlapping boxes with a question mark. As you can see, the chat is super active, and if you ask your question there, odds are it's going to be hard for us to parse out questions versus comments. But that being said, please do use the Zoom comments for anything that you find exciting about our webinar, any feedback that you have, or overall conversation about Lucid. Live captions are also enabled for you in Zoom, so feel free to use those if that'll be beneficial to you. All right. Well, without further ado, then, let's go ahead and get started here. So today, we are here to talk to you about a feature that my team uses all the time, and a lot of our Lucid team members use all the time as well. And that is the feature called Lucid Teams. You're going to be hearing me say the word team a lot today, but there's so many cool things that you can use this feature for. Peter and Brock, can you shed a little bit of light on how folks can use Teams in an optimized way?
Sure, Christian. We're always working with our customers to find new ways that they can get more value out of Lucid. And we heard a lot of requests and challenges from teams who wanted to streamline daily coordination, collaboration, and organization. And that's really how this idea of teams came about. Brock, do you want to kick us off with what that first challenge is?
Yeah, Peter, you've got it. First, teams need to self-organize in different ways. There are many types of teams beyond the hierarchical structure you might see at an org chart. You could have project-based teams, Scrum teams, Tiger teams, and more. Lucid users can create their own teams and add others to bring everyone together.
Great. And on top of all this, teams need to create a shared space that create a shared spaces that accommodate team members in multiple locations. Many teams are dispersed, so they need a shared virtual space that replicates that physical space, like a team room, bay, or war rooms. In Lucid, you can pin a document that serves as your team's home base for coordination, a spot where teams can connect, initiate work, report on progress, and even create relationships with one another.
And finally, teams need to centralize key documentation. I'm sure we've all felt the pain of having information across multiple systems, files, and folders. When team members have to chase down this information, it slows down progress big time. Lucid alleviates this challenge in several ways. After you set up a team, you can share documents with everyone on the team at once, and your shared documents are stored in a team hub. Within that team hub, you can also pin important internal or external links like your team drive, Slack channel, etc. In the primary team document pinned at the top of your team hub, you can also embed other team documentation. I think that's enough talking about the benefits. Let's show you how to use this functionality.
Thanks so much, y'all. And yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times I have been trying to find the right document. Everyone here in chat, have you ever had a moment where you've just been trying to find the right resource and you're checking Confluence, you're checking SharePoint, Teams, email? Was it on this email thread or that email thread? Has that ever happened to you? Yes, Kat, Doris, yes, all day, every day, Carolina, right? Yes, this happens all the time, and this is a really common experience. We did a research study here at Lucid a little bit ago that I think it suggested that it was about 2 hours a week are spent from a knowledge worker, just trying to find the right resources. Corey says, not at all, just kidding. Awesome. Well, while that is not an awesome issue to have, we do have an awesome feature that'll help you kind of solve a lot of these problems, and that is this team hub that we're going to show you here in Lucid. So our plan for this webinar is to do a little bit of kind of show and follow along. So it's going to get pretty tactical. So what I'd like for you to do to follow along with me is go to your Lucid homepage. So that's going to be navigated to by going to lucid.app, lucid.app. It's also possible you go there through Okta. Robert asks a great question as well. Is this only about and for MS Teams? It is not. I know this is super confusing because a lot of you probably use Teams. This is going to be a Lucid Teams feature, not related to Microsoft Teams. But it is going to be still a centralized hub and communication platform here within Lucid. So once you navigate to lucid.app, you can see this is your homepage here. I'm just in full screen. You're probably going to land at a homepage that looks a little bit like this. And if you don't have a Lucid account set up already and you're just here to see, no worries, you can still get everything you need to know with our screen share here today. But this is the Lucid homepage where you go to access all of your documents, where you go to manage your settings. And this is important because with Lucid, right, we don't install desktop apps or install files. It's all managed through the cloud. And because it's all managed through the cloud and you want to be able to make sure that everyone is communicating as well as they possibly can, we want to be able to set up a space where teams can come together. So let me show you an example of what this looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to actually create one step by step here today. One thing I forgot to mention, as we create this one step by step, this is going to be a very specific webinar, so we can expect it not to take probably the full hour, but we're going to save a ton of time for questions as well at the end. So be excited for that hands-on tutorial here. Now, here I have an example of what I believe is the best Scrum team, my team, obviously. And in the best Scrum team, we have a whole host of different types of resources for us to access. You can see our participants, description for our group of folks, any handy links, as well as a set of documents that I have organized through folders. Some of these folders even have templates where it's really easy for me to just create a new document straight from this template and really optimize and scale my work methods here. So this is what Team Hubs can really seek to do. Now, some folks have mentioned Microsoft Teams, Google, and Slack, and you might draw some similarities here, in that this is a place where people come together and work. But there's also some differences. So Lucid Team Hubs really act as a place to centralize all of your documentation, and especially your Lucid documentation is really helpful. So it's not like a chat form or anything like that. This is going to be a place where your Lucid team members can come together, share documents with one another, and access them anytime, anywhere. So now that you've seen a little bit about what this might look like, let's take a second and get towards the hands-on walkthrough portion of our demo today. So as I do this, we're going to hear from myself as well as Peter and Brock, and I invite you to follow along with me. Now, if you want to create a new team yourself, you can go to the left-hand side on your taskbar here, and there's going to be a Create Team button here for you to select. Now, as I select this team, you're going to see I can switch up things like team name, members, and who can join. This is going to toggle on different types of teams. And Brock, I'm wondering if you can talk us through what these different types of teams are.
Yeah, for sure. There are three different types of teams. So first, you have public teams. This means that anyone in your organization will be able to see your team under the All Teams page and choose to join it. We also have closed teams. Closed teams are visible within the All Teams page where you can ask to join them, but a user must either approve your request or invite you individually to the team. For example, you might set up your department or functional team this way. Another perk of both public and closed teams is that any users on your Lucid account can share directly with one of these discoverable teams all at once, instead of having to share with individuals one by one. Finally, there are hidden teams. These teams don't show up on the All Teams page, and you must be added by a member of the team to access them. This type is most appropriate for confidential projects.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. So as a recap, it sounds like we have three different team types. We have public, closed, and hidden. So if I want to do a public team, I would select this everyone at my organization selector here. And this might be really good for something like a corporate team retreat, for example, where we can all just like easily join it, or maybe like an all hands one sounds like it'd be beneficial. For something like a closed team, this is probably the one that we're going to be using the most. This is going to be for your specific teams, whether that's sales, marketing, any group of folks that you just want to have as invite only to protect information. But we do have these hidden teams here, and this is just going to mean that not only are the folks that have access, not only are they the ones that are able to access it, but they're also the only ones that can search for it. So if someone else were to try to search for this hidden team, they wouldn't be able to. This is going to be great for things like executive level strategy teams, as well as maybe like an HR situation, folks that are going through hiring and are dealing with all kinds of sensitive information. So these are some of the different teams we can use. Now it sounds like we can go through and add in different types of team members. You can see here that I can, start to introduce different Lucid users to my team. I'll go through and invite one particular colleague here, for example. But while it doesn't show up here, some of you might see a button right below your members tool that mentions a Slack integration. And Peter, I'm wondering if you can tell us more about what this Slack update can do for us.
Yeah, and we're really excited that you can now actually use Lucid's Slack integration to add team members in a whole lot faster way than you could have before. So if you have this Slack integration enabled, you can actually type in the Slack channel name into this section we're showing here, and Lucid will add everybody from that Slack channel into the team. But before you worry too much, like you will have the chance to go in and edit each team member individually if that's something you want to do, just to make sure you have the right people in there. But this really just helps speed up that whole process of using teams within Lucid, especially teams that you've already created.
Yeah, that's awesome. I look forward to you all using that Slack integration. I highly recommend it. I have this demo account here that doesn't quite show it, but you'll see it just pop up right here in this menu. Otherwise, if you use something like Microsoft Teams, you can simply just add people manually, like I'm doing here, and we can go ahead and create the team. I'm going to go ahead and make this one an invited people only team. So we've gone ahead and created the team. So one more question, Peter. Let's say, we've created this, we've gone through, we've invited everyone. What does this experience look like from the other end? So what if you're new to a team and trying to find your team hub and can't seem to find it?
Yeah, great question. So what you can do is you can actually look through existing teams in your organizations on that all teams page over to the left.
Okay.
Um, and as Brock mentioned, public and closed teams will be available to view on this page. If the team is public, you'll simply click the join button. But if there's a closed team, and you'll see it on a screen here, you'll just simply ask to join this team, which is like sending a request in that someone on that team actually needs to go in and approve.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is where we go to kind of find those teams. We can either search for them, we can ask to join them, or if they are public, it sounds like we can just really easily just click to join as well. So a couple other tips I have for you in this space too. So this is where you go to access all the teams that you could possibly find, whether you're a part of them or whether you want to be a part of them. There's a couple little controls here that I do recommend though. One of them is going to be the My Teams Only section. This is going to allow you to easily find any team that you're a part of and just kind of reduce some of the noise. This demo account has a limited number of teams, but our actual Lucid corporate account has, I mean, thousands probably. So it's really easy to filter it down just to your teams. Now, the other thing I recommend, on the left-hand side, you'll see I actually already have a few teams pinned to my taskbar. So I recommend that you pin the teams that you use the most, and you can easily do that by hovering over the team itself. There's just going to be a little pin or unpin icon here. So go ahead and pin the team that you use the most here. And if you've created one alongside with me today, go ahead and navigate to the one that you just created. Like I'm going to navigate to webinar team. And what I'd like to do for the next kind of section of our webinar today is show you how to kind of create all of these different parts of your team hub, enter in descriptions, add in different kinds of links as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the top here, which is going to be our description. This is where we can easily go and type in any kind of description that we need that's relevant to our team. I'm going to go ahead and just type in that this is a centralized hub here for us to be able to use. This is something that's always going to be relevant for us to make sure we're all aligned on the purpose of why our group is meeting. Now, second, we also have the ability to add in a whole host of different links. You saw in the best Scrum team ever here, all of these links, right? We have Google Drive, Lucid Chart, a third-party link as well. So it's really easy to go through and add those. Now, all you have to do is click on this plus button here, and it's also going to give you one of these pop-up logos depending on what the link is related to. So let's say I were to copy and paste in a link that is more Confluence related. So this is going to be our kind of knowledge base, for example. I'll go through and add that in. Now, if it's not one of those applications, then it's probably just going to show up as this little link here. But if I were to open up, let's say, a Lucid Spark diagram or a Lucid Spark document, I'm going to do some webinar magic here and copy a link from my other screen to paste in. And we'll see that this is now, okay, it's detecting. This is going to be a Lucid Spark document, and this is going to be our sprint review board, for example. So you could go through and pin as many of these links as you want to your space to really help you navigate around your team hub. Now, the other really big thing that you're going to want to do with these teams is start to think through what document management looks like. Because I've seen some questions already, and we'll get to these more in depth towards the end of the session about, hey, what's the difference between this and something like a team folder, for example? So what this team hub is doing here is it's almost creating kind of like a distribution list that you're used to through email, where anyone in this group can easily access all these documents. And we have a lot of really great ways to share back and forth between this group and other groups as well. So let's see how we can easily create a couple documents. First, I could go down here and select any one of our Agile coordination templates, and I'm going to select our sprint planning template, for example. If I were to select this, this is immediately going to create this document and share it within my team here. And it will open up the document in a new tab. But additionally, going back to my team here, I'm going to start to see this document populate in my team documents right here. So that's how you start one based off of one of these handy templates down here. Now, what if you want to be able to create just a document from scratch, just like you've been used to doing by clicking on New at the top left? So you can still do this in the Team Hub. What you're going to want to do is, instead of being in your regular document section and clicking New, you're going to want to make sure you're actually in your Team Hub here and then click on the New button. Because what this is going to do is it's going to create this document within the team. It's going to let you know this is owned and managed by the team that you've created. So you've gone through and you've created a couple easy Lucid Spark documents. Now, what happens if you want to be able to easily kind of import your own documents? So there's a number of different ways to do that. If I go to Team Documents over here in your Team Hub section, you're going to see that I have a Move to Team button at the top right. It's going to look like a little folder with an arrow here. Now, selecting this is going to allow me to navigate to any document that I have access to in Lucid. For example, like my Documents section here. And I could go through and start to insert in any types of trainings, for example, here. I could go through and select this to transfer over to my Team Hub. I could select whole folders as well as individual documents. And this is one easy way that you can select and manage multiple documents to move over to your team. Now, as you're kind of managing and adding all of these different documents, you're going to find that you're probably going to have a lot of document sprawl. You're going to have sprint planning documents and presentation documents and stand-ups and any meeting under the sun. So one other tip I have for you is, in order for your team to stay centralized and focused, create a primary pinned document. You can do that by going to Team Space here and just selecting Get Started. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a Lucid Spark document that is always easily accessible because it's going to be pinned to the center of your Team Hub. And for your convenience in this pinned document, we're going to automatically prompt you to select a few different kinds of templates, like project templates and strategy planning templates. And you're going to see what the experience looks like is if I go back to my Team Hub. Well, now my team space is centralized and pinned right in the middle here. So we have a whole host of different ways to be able to manage your documents, create new documents, move over existing ones into here, as well as to pin any level of relevant primary documents as well. Now, there's some other different types of capabilities that you have when we think through kind of pinning documents. And that is, let's say we have, we've gone ahead and created this central pinned document here. And it's no longer really the type of document that I need in my team space. I need something else centralized. Well, what you can do here is you can go and right-click on that specific document, and you can remove it as your team space. You could easily go through and select another document and make that your primary team space instead. So you have lots of flexibility to switch back and forth between pinning and unpinning these different types of documents. Now, Peter, I'm curious, I know we showed how to pin these documents. Are there any types of documents that you see as best practice to keep pinned in that team space?
Yeah, I would say think of this space and this document really as your physical bullpen turned virtual. We even have templates in Lucid you can look for that simulate this conference room if that's really something you want to kind of emulate in the Lucid world. So like Christian mentioned, you can pin any document. What we recommend is a document that your team comes back to the most. For a Scrum team, that might be something like the daily stand-up board or even sprint planning. But this this area should really be customized to your own team. So think of it that way, right? Like think of the place you and your team are coming back to all the time and utilize it for that specific use case.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And it's really all about how this team can work for you. Now, one other thing that I want to show you here, because a lot of us are thinking through, okay, document organization, team management, just like we went through and created a new team, or excuse me, a new Lucid Spark document within this team, you can also, while still in your team here, go to New at the top left and select Folder. This will allow you to start creating a folder structure within your team. For example, any of the templates that we need to use, and you'll start to see that folder structure created here. So these are some of the tips that you have to be able to start to kind of recreate this experience that we showed earlier. Now, there are a few other things that I'd like to note when we think through kind of managing your teams over time, because, you know, companies change all the time, people get promoted, or maybe the project sunsets or whatever it might be. So we have a few different ways that you can kind of manage your team as well. Now, if I were to go into my gear option at the top right here, you'll see I have options to be able to archive this team as well as customize the look and feel of this team. So if you do want to customize your team, super easy to go through and add in something like, a little bit more color to your initials, or if you're like me and you don't want to have an acronym, you think an emoji is way cooler, you could do like a thumbs up here. You could do a 100 for your team sort of logo. But as far as kind of managing people coming in and out of your team, you have the ability to archive this team at any point in time. This is going to be really, really beneficial and a similar sort of experience that you're used to, perhaps with archiving Teams, Microsoft Teams, or Slack channels as well. You know, areas that you want to have be able to access and have on record, but you don't want it active so folks aren't accidentally posting there anymore, and you want them to post to the correct place. Now, another thing that you're going to want to be aware of is at the top left of your screen, you can select all of your members of your team. And this is going to allow you to, kind of remove or add more people as needed. As you get requests for people to join your team, you're going to see those requests come through here in this Manage Members section as well. So we have a lot of really kind of great functionality around archiving, customization, and different kinds of team space configuration. Now, Brock, I hear we have one more update that we haven't covered yet related to notifications. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Christian, I can tell you about that. If you work with multiple cross-functional teams, you're able to use team notifications to alert an entire group of people with just one comment. So for example, say your team is working on a retrospective board for a recent project. When you're ready for other team members to come in and start adding content, you can add a team notification to the board, easily adding an @mention symbol and typing in the team name, like Christian's showing here. And this will send a notification to all team members and bring them into the board at their convenience. Like other team capabilities, this is intended to keep teams aligned and save users time from having to individually tag different team members.
Definitely. And this is, I know some folks been asking kind of like, how does this fit in with that group mentioning communication? I've seen some of those questions that we'll address here as we wrap up here shortly. But this is a really, really great feature to be able to use. And as you share out documents, like if I am not a part of this team and I'm sharing this with Brock's team, it's really easy for me to pull people in. And Brock's team can also really easily access any documents that are shared with them by going to the shared with team section. So a lot of different, configurations and possibilities to really work in the way that you need your Lucid documents to work. But with that, I want to do a little bit of a recap, and then we're going to head into Q&A. Teams are going to be a phenomenal resource for you to use to stay organized in Lucid. Keep all your Lucid documentation clean and clear, while also integrating with a number of other different applications and platforms like these links here, and using really easy and intuitive notification and organizational controls. I highly recommend that you set them up for both your individual teams as well as maybe larger divisions, perhaps like regions or a specific job function. But that's a little bit about what we covered. I know we've covered a lot of ground. I hope that this was helpful for you to kind of get some ideas and perhaps even create your own team in the process. I think you're going to find that it's going to be really helpful for your collaboration. As a reminder, we're going to send a recording of the session within 2 business days to your email, along with any additional resources. But I'd like to use the remainder of our time to answer any questions that you have. So I know a lot of folks have been asking their questions in Q&A. Shannon, are there any questions that we should address right at the top? And for anyone else, feel free to also post any additional questions you have now in Zoom. Okay, I see one question here. So what's the difference between this and a shared folder? Now, as we take a look and think through kind of a shared folder, which that would be something like a team folder here in your documents. And yes, it's true that with your team folders, you can create a folder of documents and share it with someone else, and they can kind of go in and access those documents as they need to. But what this is doing is really kind of creating like a shared filing cabinet. It's not giving your team an office to work out of, you know? And you want your teams to kind of have that centralized virtual office, so to speak, where not only do they get access to that filing cabinet, but they also have access to that, whiteboard in that conference room. They have access to be able to bring people in and out super easily as needed. So when I think through how Teams really builds off of team folders, I think through things like being able to use this centralized pinned team space that we created, some of those notification controls that Peter and Brock were walking us through earlier, as well as being able to connect various types of links from other applications. So Team Folder is like one isolated component of the whole picture of Team Hubs. Great question here. Okay, I'm also seeing some questions about things like pricing, how much it costs, where to access. So this is going to be available for enterprise accounts in Lucid. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, wow, I really need something like this for my team, it would be really helpful. Please connect with us. We're happy to talk about what pricing would be like for you and what that would look like for your specific business. I see another question here. Does creating a document notify team members via email? Y'all keep these questions coming. You're asking them, and we are going along answering them. Does creating a document notify team members via email? Peter and Brock, can you shed a little bit of light on that and what that process looks like?
Yeah, currently creating a document does not notify everybody via email. Like we showed in there, Christian at mentioning the team does notify all the members of the team via email. It is a feature that we're potentially thinking about for the future.
Awesome. And as far as notifications go, can they also expect any team level notifications to be appearing in this bell icon up here?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this bell icon at the top right being your Lucid kind of homepage, this is where you're going to find all those different notifications, as well as if you're the team organizer, you're going to see that banner that we talked about earlier, and your requests come through on the manage members level. One question here, how is this different from something than a Google Drive? Google Drive has the ability to be able to, do so much of this stuff, creating pinned documents, creating pinned folders. A lot of this experience feels a little bit similar. Peter, you tackled the last question. I don't know, or Brock, sorry, you tackled the last question. Peter, I don't know if you're able to maybe handle this one here.
Yeah, I think where Lucid comes into play here is, Google Drive, right? It is a great space to have, to like organize a bunch of different documentation. Where Lucid takes that next step is, we not only organize that documentation for you, but you're right there where it is that your teams are doing the work. And so, yes, you'll be able to find your documents just as quickly and easily as you are in like a Google Drive. But if your team's coming here to do your daily stand-ups, to do your sprint planning, this takes that step out of the equation of having to find it in some Google Drive link somewhere and then coming in here. And then it also just allows you to get all the other benefits that Lucid has around collaboration. And so, we really want this place to be your kicking off point for your team's work. And so you'll be able to go straight into that team space, straight into those other boards that you're creating, as opposed to having to go through a Google Drive and needing to wrap your head around all the different types of documentation that are in there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter and Robert. Thanks also for that feedback in chat. I appreciate that. That was a helpful answer to your question. Appreciate you posting that. Let's see. So I'm getting some questions on, I went ahead and I saw a Google Drive icon in the links, but the Google Drive links that that someone added just seem to show like the chain icon as opposed to the actual Google Drive logo. Is there anything that this person can do differently to be able to make sure that that heads-up display is correct, or at least the intended experience?
I would say follow up with our support team on that one. That's something I'm actually interested in looking into because we have it auto parse. So it kind of identifies, oh, this is a Google Drive link, so let's put that Google link in there. So I'd follow up with support on that one.
Awesome. Thank you. And then as far as following up on with support, one easy thing you can do here is you can go to our community page here, and as you go into community.lucid.co, we have a peer support section as well. So I would try this one. Our Lucid teams are constantly monitoring this in addition to non-Lucid employee product experts, like a lot of yourselves, I'm sure, are. So take a look at our peer support section, post any kind of product questions or specific kind of things that you have going on here, and as well as you can also reach out to our direct support staff too. One more question here about links. How can we go through and edit some of these different links? I see that if I click this link there, it takes me straight to that web page, and if I click on the X, then it deletes the link. Peter and Brock, is there any experience that we can take a look at to kind of edit these links up here?
Yeah, right now, unfortunately, we don't have that ability to go in and re-edit those links. It is something my team's currently working on. So expect sometime in the near future here, the ability to go in there and re-edit those links, move where their positioning is on there, and we'll even be introducing a few more icons so that little chain link will show up less and you'll get the actual product icon in there.
Awesome. So exciting. So yeah, right now we're just probably going to delete the link here and then re-add a new one. But as Peter and Brock have all, reiterated, this is something that we are very invested in and updating constantly. So be on the lookout for all these new features coming out as well. I'm seeing some more questions. Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Do we have any type of user group feature that can be added to Teams? So if I think like a user group feature, I think this is going to be a lot of what Teams is going to offer you here. Like this webinar team is your user group, and that like as we showed earlier, if I were to go here and mention a specific group of users, I can share this document with them. I can send notifications directly to them. But Peter or Brock, is there any other kind of like user group functionality that we can also expect here in Teams?
So if I'm understanding correctly the question, it sounds like they're asking, are we going to be able to pull in groups that maybe already exist into the teams? Is that what you're asking, Christian?
It's
Or is
possible.
that how
And
you're...
whoever asked that question, go ahead. If that's not exactly what it was, please go ahead and rephrase there maybe, and we can tackle it differently. But at least for the moment, let's go ahead and assume that's the question there.
Cool. Like Peter was talking about earlier, right now the best way to do that is by using the Slack integration. We obviously hope in the future to also support some other group like importing as well. But Slack is the one where you can pull in all the members that already exist in a team that or a group that's been created in Slack. Um, Besides that, you can copy and paste a bunch of emails into that list if you already have a full list of emails that you want to into the shared dialogue to add members to the team. But yeah, so those are the ways that you can right now. I'm not sure if that answers the question. Please let me know in the chat if you have other questions and I could try to answer it there too.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And I'm seeing some more questions on links, like, for example, can Figma link to Teams? Yeah, so it'll still be able to, you'll be able to link any document in here. The difference is kind of just having a little their icon pop up next to the link as opposed to having a standard chain link pop up. So while Figma won't have an icon at the moment, be on the lookout for any updates, but still go through and link it nonetheless, and you'll get this little chain link option here. And Robert, just as a clarifier, I think the previous person was having issues. They could still post their Google link, but it wasn't showing that Google Drive logo. So if that happens to you as well, please feel free to reach out to us, send us some screenshots. But either way, you'll be able to post the link. It's just depending on if the icon shows up as well. Tim, thank you so much for the feedback. I love this. Pretty intuitive as I explore and just got access. Fantastic. Yeah, we have a number of different webinars and training resources at your disposal. Additionally, for everyone here, you could also, in that community section, another shorthand link you can do is training.lucid.co. And this is going to take you to our Lucid Training Labs, where we have tons of free resources for you to take a look at. I will say, honestly, I mean, I can't say without bias because that's a little bit, like an oxymoron sort of, but I've worked in customer education for a very long time. And this is, in my opinion, at least with the companies I've worked for, the best online sort of academy that I have experienced. We have instructors giving you videos. You have handout documents that reinforce what you just learned. We have tons of different help center articles, as well as community inspiration posts. So please do take a look at this training website here because it's absolutely fantastic. I'm seeing, another question on Figma. Can Figma integrate into Teams when it comes to design execution work that needs to utilize Lucid whiteboards? So I see this question in kind of two parts. As far as the Figma integrating into Lucid Teams, what I would default to would be that kind of link that we showed earlier to be able to kind of link towards your team hub here. Now, additionally, I would check out our integrations at the bottom left and find one of our, at this point, last I checked, it was 150 plus integrations. And you can find our Figma integration. This is going to allow you to embed thumbnails and files directly into your Lucid Spark boards. So for you, what I would do, I didn't see who asked this question, is I would set up this integration, and then in my primary team space here, let's say you're using like Figma links a lot to do an overview of a process or a product, then use this centralized space as your dashboard, and you can still include your Figma links in this dashboard here. So let me show an example of what this might look like with a Google Sheet at least. I might have to go through a different web browser here, but you can expect something like this. So I have this Google Sheet here. I don't have Figma access to show you, but basically what would happen is you would paste your link directly into your Lucid Spark board. I'm going to do it here in our other board here. And you'll see that it creates this living thumbnail for you to be able to reference. Not only can you add descriptions, like this is going to be our FY26 project, but I can also go through and easily access the source link at any time by opening it in a new tab, or my personal favorite, clicking on the in-tab editor here. You'll see I'm still in my Lucid Spark tab, and I have access to edit any component that I want of my source document. So I would try this out with Figma. That would be my big recommendation for you. Leverage the team space as your dashboard and use that Figma integration. Great question. Let's see here. How can I add a document from my desktop drive to the team space without a link? Yeah, that's a really good question. So at the moment, this is going to be, the Team Hub is going to be a link-based system here. So if that's the case, depending on what your software is, if you have M365, for example, a lot of M365 files, at least if you're on a relatively in the past, 5-ish years modern version, will also have a web link. So I would suggest finding that web link and then pasting it here in your Team Hub. That would probably be the best way that I would go about doing that. You're welcome. Thanks so much for asking. All right, I'm taking oh, here's another one. Any tips for those orgs with SharePoint or Confluence in regards to content sprawl. Yeah, so I mean, we use Teams here and we also use Confluence. And in my opinion, we do use them for different things. So while Lucid Team Hub is a great way to bring a team or a group of people together, centralize documentation, and have these different links at the ready with notifications, we use Confluence a lot as our knowledge base. So they're really, really excellent at like process-based articles. We'll even integrate some of our Lucid chart documents in there as well to add some kind of helpful visuals. But we kind of tend to use Confluence more so for our knowledge base, articles, and documentation. But Peter and Brock, any additional insights on kind of uh, how to tackle content sprawl with orgs that also use SharePoint, Confluence, and now Lucid Teams?
Yeah, I think you really need to start thinking about like where the root of all your work is. And so at Lucid, a lot of our documentation, obviously where we want to push people to have a lot of their documentation, are in these collaborative boards. And whether it's diagrams or it's these whiteboards, that's really where Lucid uses and generates a lot of our content and a lot of our knowledge. And so we obviously use our product in Teams a lot to um, you know, collect and access all that different type of information. And obviously, I want to suggest that you guys start doing the same there. For having links and other resources like your SharePoints, like your Confluence, that's really why we introduced this links feature that you're seeing in here. So we can make it a lot easier for you to you come to this home base, and then when you know, okay, this thing lives in Confluence that is, associated with this project team, with this Scrum team, we have that link right there available for you to then go click out to those additional resources.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'm seeing some more questions about different types of integrations. I didn't see your name, but hi there. You mentioned something about Monday. Yeah, so for something like Monday too, just hop on over to our integration section. We got so many different options here, and you can take a look at our Monday integration. This is going to work really well with our Lucid cards. And if you want to learn more about kind of our Lucid card experience with different kinds of task management tools, we do have a previous webinar recording that uses Jira as an example. And we have tons of different really, really cool things you can do with Monday cards, like putting them into Kanban board style organizers, timelines. You can do voting sessions and prioritization exercises and more. So definitely make sure to set up that integration there. All right. Any other questions that we have here? I know we've done a little, probably 20 minutes of Q&A or so, which is fantastic. Anything else that we can help address? Wow, Robert, I'm reading through this comment, but I love the excitement. And I think a lot of the ways that you are kind of recapping this and positioning it are very accurate and also very exciting. I hope this is exciting for you and something that you can leverage as you think through what Peter and Brock mentioned at the kind of root of where and how you work. All right. Well, we look to be slowing down on questions. So I will just say thank you all so much for joining our webinar today. These types of webinars are made by your excitement, your engagement, and your questions. So thank you for a wonderful time. I appreciate all your insights. If you have any further questions, please reach out to our teams. We're here to see you succeed. We mentioned this is an enterprise level feature. If that's not something that you have, we have teams at the ready to be able to discuss what that would look like for you. Other than that, we have that recording link sent out to you within 2 days. So be on the lookout for that, as well as those step-by-step guides and resources. But thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day and have fun with all your weekend plans that we talked about. Take care, everyone.